Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host TDT, and you can refer to me as Miss T. Y'all saw the thumbnail. I said it's something. getting, getting tongue tied already. But y'all saw the thumbnail. Chris Colbert quit in that ring. We got a lot of review of the fights this weekend. It was a good weekend for boxing. I will say that. But first, as always, let's turn to welcome back. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT, and we're going to review these fights this past weekend. A lot of stuff was going on. This was a great weekend for boxing. I enjoyed myself. I didn't watch every fight, but I've watched the ones that counted. First, we're going to do a water check as always. This is my 10th bottle. Once I finish that, I'm at 80 ounces. Hopefully, you guys chime in with how much you drink per day. Don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. But make sure you lean on that heezy when you step into the heezy. Please hit like and share when you step into the square circle. And after the show, if you're watching me on replay, feel free to comment, give me some feedback, let me know how you like the show, or even if you didn't like the show. Just holler at your girl. Tell me what you think and things that you might want to hear or ask questions or whatever. But don't forget to like when you come into the square circle. So, as I said, I drank, after this bottle, it'll be 80 ounces of water. We always advocate 100 ounces of water here at Boxing Fans Talk TV. And that's our water check for the day. Hopefully by the end of the evening, I'm on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully by the end of the evening, you have got this far or further. As I said, we advocate for 100 ounces. But let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the low-level fights to give people time to get in because, and I apologize to you guys, I put the time of 7:30 p.m. as to when my show is starting. 19:30 every day, Monday through Friday. That's military time. I put it on my thumbnails, and when I go back and watch it, the upcoming show, it says 12:30 a.m. So I don't know why it does that, but I put it under the in the banner scrolling at the bottom. The correct time is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh Chris Akabusi laugh. YOL. Yo. Welcome to the building, King. Welcome to the building. Um so we're gonna talk about these low level fights, right? So you had the Josh Taylor and Catterall fight, and they had an undercard. It was in his hometown, I guess, of Scotland or whatever. They had some good little nuggets on that undercard. I thoroughly enjoyed myself watching those fights. And then you had the Chris Colbert. I say Colbert. I don't care what he call it. Spelled Colbert. Colbert. Your mama named you Colbert. I'm gonna name you Colbert, or I'm gonna say Colbert. But we had his main event card where he faced was Hector Garcia, and what an upset. We gonna get into that. But first, I want to talk about the little nuggets that we were able to see on some of these different fight cards. I missed, just to start off with the Chris Colbert undercard, I missed that first fight, but I'm gonna jump into the Catterall and Taylor's undercard and work my way up. So Doherty versus Grant. That was a good little fight. This guy Doherty, and I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He has great fundamentals. Grant is sloppy. He's a little sloppy. That guy was a little sloppy. He was worse at being balanced. That's what I noticed. He was lunging a lot and totally off balance. All it took is one good punch placed right, and he could have been gone. But Doherty, he had some fundamentals. He was serious. I like his game face. He felt like, he had that look like, this guy, are y'all serious? That's how he looked coming into the fight. And like I said, Grant's timing was off, or his balance, and it was a matter of time before he got caught. Doc is so calm. Doherty, I already gave him a nickname, Doc. Doc is so calm, and he works behind his jabs. He basically beat the guy handily, like real easy. He worked behind his jab. The only problem with Doherty is he seems slow, and I'm comparing him to the other people that he may have to face. He seems slow, or that could have been who he was facing. Sometimes you adjust to who's in front of you. And he didn't have to be fast. He didn't have to be spectacular. He just had to stick his jab out and work behind the jab. It was just a very basic, simple fight. I like Doherty's game face, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that if he had to get in there with some better competition, that he would know how to step it up and and pick up the pace a little. So that's what I thought about their fight. I will follow his fights with interest. I will do that. I will follow his fights with interest because I wasn't able. There was no. His opponent wasn't no competition. But I like the fundamentals. I like his game face, and I like the attitude because we always say when you're a boxer, if you're in the ring with somebody who don't supposed to be there, your job is to get them out. This notion that some of these fighters use, that when they say stuff like, I meant to box like that, I chose to box like that, or, I'm going to use my B game or C game. A lot of people who be saying this type stuff, they're too early in their career. In fact, there's only really one person who can say that with a straight face, and that is Floyd Mayweather. If I have to do a close second, now that Floyd is retired, I'm gonna give that to Shakur. Shakur Stevens is more believable if he said, "Well, I slowed the pace down. I just boxed a little. I changed the game up with her because, Shakur Stevens to me is another person I can say is a complete fighter, closer to a Floyd Mayweather than mostly all the other fighters. I say Brandon Lee is a complete fighter. I say that Bud Crawford is a complete fighter. Jerron Ennis is a complete fighter. There's a couple of people that I will name as complete fighters, and to me, that's the highest compliment because you get to a point where you say, "What can't they do?" You know. But the only person that can say with a straight face now, currently, that I chose to slow it up, or I chose to just box him from the outside, or I chose to get up on the ropes and I handle him. I chose, whatever you chose. The only person that can say that with a straight face right now is Shakur Stevens, and it would be believable. Um, Outside of Floyd Mayweather, but we know that Floyd is he's retired. Now, Darkity actually won the fight. He won by KO, you know. And then let's move on to Ebony Jones, and Effie Kathopoulou, Kathopoli, Kathopuli. And I apologize if I'm butchering the names. I don't mean to, and it's all due respect. They had a 6 rounder. These are the female boxers. And in that fight, I was sitting there saying, we really need 3-minute rounds. Maybe, and I've said this before, maybe we need like the women to fight no more than 10 rounds, 3-minute rounds. But also you can fight 8, talk about the top tier fighters, 8 rounds of 3 minutes. I mean, that's either 6 minutes, less than the men, or 12 minutes less than the men. I believe 12 minutes less than the men. So them fighting made me really makes me more of a believer that the women should go to 3 minutes. You know why? If the worry is, concussions, this is certainly an environment or guarantee that will happen. Because when you have that little bit of time, what you gonna do? You're gonna rock them, sock them. PGH Big Dog is in the building. He says, "Salute Queen T." PGH, I'm starting off from the bottom and working my way up because I know people come in late, and I want them to I want everybody to be there when we get into the hot topics, the hot ticket items tonight, which is the Colbert and the Catterall fight. So we talking about these women who was on the undercard of the Josh Taylor and Catterall fight. Now they call her the Pocket somebody. I didn't catch the name all the way. She squats down. She just the girl that came in with the cowboy hat on. She's kind of short. She will be able to exert power on her punches because of how she squats. So that's a good thing about that particular fighter. Her opponent, Effie, to me, seemed more of a, I ain't gonna say complete fighter, but more of a boxer. I mean, I felt like they both were going for headshots the whole night through. And it was a 6 rounder. And I mean, really? You're gonna for 6 rounds, 2 minutes each, you're gonna just constantly bang somebody in the head and think that there's no concussion that could come from that. And then when they say, what's the problem with women boxing, what they fear or what they worry about? Because they say women tend to concuss more than men. I wonder why. You set up an environment for that to happen, and then you complain and say, this is what we fear. This is why we don't do something else. But, blah, 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 blah. If you add the extra minute, what's going to happen is that these women going to have to be strategic. They're going to have to be strategic in how they place their punches, how often they place their punches, and they're going to have to be strategic in making sure that they last the full round. So all that rock'em sock'em is going to dissipate. It's gonna be a thing of the past. It's gonna be a relic of the past. In a sense, they are setting up the environment for women to fight in the old ways, how they fought in 19th century or 18th century, where they used to draw a line, and that was the line, the scrimmage line, the scratch line, and the boxer, excuse me, will put their foot on the on that line, and they would just constantly go back and forth, hitting each other in the face. I just did Black History Moment the other day about a couple of black fighters that came from America. One of them, I think, was born into slavery, and we talk in 1776. I think it was Bill Richmond who revolutionized that way of fighting. You know, that's probably the father of counter punches, parrying, mixing it up, moving around. It's not like they say he walked around the whole area, but he didn't stand still in front of you and boom, 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 boom. So if y'all think about old time of how they used to actually do wars, they would line everybody up, and the other side is doing the same thing, and they would stand there and point the guns. And I mean, it took them centuries to realize that that was kind of crazy. It could have had something to do with the technology, but in boxing, that's not a problem. In fighting wars, yes, because you had muskets, and if a part of that musket broke, that whole gun was broke. Um, the way they revolutionized weapons, you could move around. That guerrilla tactic. You hear 1 second, you're there another second. I mean, but it makes sense. You don't stand in front of somebody and just rock them, sock them. In boxing, there's no excuse. And like I said, I'm a big proponent. You guys can tell me what you think about that. Of, you know, moving around, lateral movement, all of that stuff is important in boxing. And the way they have women's boxing, this is why it's boring, because who wants to see that all day, every day? And until they add the minute, as I said before, you can go to 10 rounds tops, whereas men got 12 rounds tops. There are a lot of fights that men do that are 10 rounders. And I'm talking top 10 or top echelon fighters, and even championship fights. They can be 10 rounds. So all you gotta do is lessen it for women. Make it that this the top fighters or whatever, or the seasoned fighters can only fight 10 rounds or less. And sometimes you can have 8 rounders. You shaving off minutes. It's still less than the men, and you're gonna make them more strategic and not rock 'em sock 'em. But you're gonna lessen the risk of concussions. So I didn't like the fight because of that. You're talking about between the two ladies. Um, Again, the short one, which was Ebony Jones, she might be a force to be reckoned with in the future because she sits on her punches. Now we got to see if she can move around and be more strategic and stop standing in front of people. I mean, by the end of the first round, both of their faces were red, beat red, and that's just a lot of hits to the face. Effie was able to catch her. So Effie did a little bit of counter punching. And so like the other girl would throw and she would, lean back, boom, And so that was pretty cool. That's why I say Effie seemed like she was more between the two, a more complete fighter. But you got one person just mauling you or just standing in front of you, constantly going for your head. I mean, you just gonna get in the dog fight through the whole time, 6 rounds. It's crazy. Sir Antbo is in the building. What's poppin' King? He said women give birth to humans. They can handle 3-minute 12 rounders. It'll make the sport better for sure. I agree with you, Sir Antbo. Exactly. Exactly. I just don't see how, I'm sorry for my voice, y'all. I don't see how a woman, medically can become more concussed than a man when a woman is the one hitting you. Now, any man throw a punch to you, I'm with you. All it takes is one or two. Just take a couple of them. Yeah, you're going to get a concussion. Yeah, you're going to swell up immediately. Yeah, you probably be knocked out. Because we know physically men are more stronger than women. That's just the way we are designed. But my power against a woman my size is equal, right? It's equal. I may be more powerful. Maybe I got that gift. She may be more powerful. Maybe she got that gift. But what about her hands is going to do that much damage to me? If you're in boxing, then you understand the risk. Women are not the only one who can get hit and have a concussion. There are men out there that can take one blow to the head and instantly have a concussion. There are men out there that can take a blow to the head and die, as women do. You know, we a couple of years ago we had some kids who were fighting, and the little girl got hit in the head. I don't know how many times, but she was fighting another little girl, and she died later that night. The head isn't meant to be hit, but you don't want to create an environment where that's all you're gonna do. And so I just think that they should rethink that. These girls gotta learn, even with the 2 minutes, to be more strategic and maybe move around as if they got 3 minutes. I don't know how that's gonna play out in the judge's mind, because the judge is gonna go by more hits, more hits, more hits. But if you moving around, hit and don't get hit. Bam, pop her ass, move around, lateral movements, do the sweet pea on them. You know, you're gonna have to work with them 2 minutes the best you can in the interim until they get out their ass and decide that it's beneficial for women to have 3 minutes. I mean, they do it in other combat sports. Men have 5 minutes in MMA, women do too. So to me, I don't see the difference. And that's worse because you can get kneed in the head and kicked in the head and all kinds of shit. Sir Antbo said less punches will be thrown of rounds if rounds are longer. Yep. And that's my calculus. That's what I'm thinking. You guys, please like and share and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Done so. Like and share when you step into the square circle. Please, please. So, overall, I'm gonna give them the boring fight. I'm gonna say it was boring. Cause how long you gonna look at shit like that before you like? I look at boxing for the science of it all. I definitely be seeing science going down in boxing matches. The displacement of weight, the positioning, the movement, the judging of timing, the judging of distance. That is fascinating. And to do it in a fraction of a second, fascinating. And I like this, and I think wholeheartedly, if women can elevate their game to that, be great. Yogi is in the building. What's popping, Queen? Hello, Miss T. Stopping by the show to show support. I seen your grades, girl. Go on ahead. Yogi over there with the top notch grades and stuff. I think that was your grades. I think it was your grades. I did a quick look and I said, look at her. Your own track, your own deck. Congratulations, Yogi. Soon to be doctor. But yeah, it was a boring fight because of the headshots. No variety, no special effects. When y'all go see a basketball game, y'all love it when people dunk. Boom. Nuts on the chin. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Y'all love that. Y'all love in boxing when people do that full counter real good and pop a motherfucker. Y'all love that stuff. But you ain't gonna get it in the women's the way they fight now. You're not gonna get it, and that has to change. I can't say that enough. But lots of head clashes too that they had. Yogi said yes, and she said thank you, sis. No doubt, no doubt. You're doing the hard part. You You are doing the heavy lifting, sis. But they had lots of head clashes, you know. I can't remember if one was southpaw and one was orthodox, but you know, because they had hunting, you know, they were bashing their heads, but it wasn't the traditional like on the side. It was like full frontal. They got to stop. That's a concussion waiting to happen. Um, but they can improve. Like I think in the interim, the women just need to try to change that about themselves, utilize the 2 minutes, and maybe it's something that they all need to meet up and speak on this. If they're adamant they're not going to change this timing, then they need to change how they judge women boxing just slightly, because of the woman. She gonna get in there and she gonna do all this head hunting and she gonna fight till they drop. And that's how the judges been judging them, because that's what they all do. But if you take the 2 minutes and maybe you spread it out and move around and just be more, you know, kind of like how you would judge figure skating or judge you know, the level of difficulty on certain things you do. Maybe they got to do that. My biggest thing is, if women are asking for it and some people are asking for it, who is the person that's saying no? And why do they have that authority to say no? Because it don't medically make sense at all. And people, we all need to challenge that. So let's move to the welterweights on this undercard. So you had Serban versus Donovan. Now let me tell y'all about this dude Donovan, okay? Let me make sure I got the right one. Because I put notes as I was watching the fight. I know one of these guys' name was Donovan. Whoever the guy I'm talking about, I'm gonna tell you right now, he is going to be the next Lomachenko. I'm telling you. He's I like his size. Um, he looks tall. He's not thin, but he's not big. He's like medium size. And everything y'all say about Lomachenko, that's what this guy got. Um, at first glance, Serban looks bigger than a welterweight because he's a little shorter, he's a little stocky or whatever. He was I didn't like the way his approach to his fight. And I'll say something about that in a minute. And Donovan, he can almost, to me at first glance, he looked like a super middleweight. Now, what is a super welterweight? A junior middleweight. He did not, neither one of them look like welterweights to me. But he is Bob Arum's kind of guy. And the commentator said that. He's a nice looking man. He is. He's a nice looking man, and that matters because presentation, presentation, presentation. You know, if you want to attract casuals, it is about presentation. You know, if you just getting in there and say, I just want it to be all about what I do in the ring, you're gonna attract who you attract. And you just gonna have that base bottom fan base. You're gonna have to do something extraordinary to attract others. And it's proven that people who can attract the casuals are the ones who elevate their game financially and everything, and they draw more people in. So every boxer should be thinking about that. That's why presentation and putting your best foot forward is part of the fight game too. Because nobody wants to look at somebody who's an eyesore or has a detractor that you can't even watch the match because you're focusing on something else. You know, something about them that you just can't get past. And so this kid Donovan, he's definitely eye candy to some. I mean, I ain't saying he fine as shit. He really, I wouldn't be pressed, but he's a nice looking man. I can say that. Like he got what it takes to be marketable. I like his stature. I like his size. He's very proportioned. And when I tell you, the first thought when you see him fight, Lomachenko, a bigger Lomachenko. And I believe he's going to garner a lot of fans. And you guys need to follow this guy. His last name Donovan. I'm assuming that he's Scottish. He's, of course, a white guy. Um, he's under top rank. And Bob loves this guy. Bob's gonna put money into this guy too. He beat the brakes off this dude. Kind of like Lomachenko do. He got angles for days. He hits you so many times and he's gone. He moved through the whole time. He never was winded that I saw. Um, he was beating the guy so bad. I mean, he was just turning the guy up. The ref had to step in. I mean, the guy had no answer. Could not have an answer. What do you do to a person who has ring generalship like a Lomachenko and the lateral movement and the angles of it all? And it's not like you can look at him. I didn't see it yet. Maybe I have to see more fights, but I'm not looking at him and saying, you know what? He tend to go to his right side all the time, or he tend to go to his left side all the time. You're not going to glean that. Well, I didn't glean that on the first time watching him, but I would tell you over time, you'll see. And, that's something that I picked up with Lomachenko. Lomachenko do the same thing. And Pacquiao, they go to the same side. And if you could keep up with the movement and the angle, like T.O. did to Lomachenko, like Floyd did to Pacquiao, that's your answer. But outside of that, whoa, that dude was slick as hell. And as they said, he's Bob's kind of guy. Bob loves this guy. Bob is going to put money behind this guy. No doubt he's going to be inserted into the equation of the top fighters. He probably have to do a couple of more fights. I don't know how many fights he have. I don't think he's had many. But, that's coming. Y'all watch. Remember that name, Donovan. I'm going to put the link into the chat if you guys want to chime in. Let me also open the phone lines. I keep meaning to do that when I start, and I be slipping on my pimping. Sorry for that. And I'm going to get it straight, and then it'll take me but a moment. And remember, you guys can call in, say your piece, and hop off. You can do that. Say how you feel, because I want you guys to cook, because I know a lot of people got something to say about this weekend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like and share when you step into the square circle. Please, please, please. And y'all take notice, I come on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday, because YouTube is not going to show the correct time. And I think a lot of people, catch me on replay. I need y'all to come in when it's live. Rock with me for at least, 10 or 15 minutes, because we be dropping nuggets over here. So hit that like button as you come into the square circle. So back to Donovan. Bob Arum is grooming this guy. And like he you know who he favored? He actually looks like Josh Taylor. And y'all know how they feel about Josh Taylor. So this dude can box. And like I say, he used angles, body punches, foot movement, moves his head offline. He don't just head hunt. He's very strategic with his stuff. I mean, he was overwhelming. I was sitting on the edge of the bed like, oh my God, I couldn't take my eyes off this guy. Y'all talk about Lomachenko. We have a replacement now that Lomachenko has decided instead of fleeing his country to avoid the war, he's gone back. The boxing community gave him a lot of pushback, as we should. I mean, your country needs you. To each his own, but your country needs you. And I was watching the show today, and they made a relevant point, and I will say this when it comes to this war. I was sitting here thinking all weekend, what are they going to do? Because we have a lot of Ukrainian and Russian boxers in the boxing community, and some of them have titles. So what do you do in a case like Ukraine call back all their guys? They said 18 to 60. They need you. And I'm sure Russians gonna need whatever. But it was some points brought up. Shout out to the show that brought it up. Um, was talking about the flags, and I thought about that too. And talking about how boxers come in and they like to wave their flags and all this stuff. This is between Ukraine and Russia. I think that NATO is probably going to get involved. I haven't been watching the news, so I'm just speculating. If you guys know more, y'all let me know. But it's not really our fight. It's not really our business. It's our business in the sense that we have to always stand up for democracy. Without doing that, we jeopardize our own. And let me tell you, every American, y'all can say what y'all want, but y'all love democracy more than sometimes you think you do. And you don't want to live in a country where that doesn't exist. I can promise you that. But so when a country that needs our help, because that is the American way, when it comes to sustaining democracy, America is gonna, be called to action in some form or fashion. And these boxers, even though they live in their own life, they're getting caught up in it. So what do you do with people like a Bivol and a Better BF who hold titles at 175? Do you take their belts? Because we can't sit here and wait for their war. Do you take their belts? Or is this the perfect time to create an interim belt, but let it be representative of the real champion, belt? Because this skirmish may last a month or two, 3 months, 6 months. It may go on for years. We don't know. But just have a time limit set up. Like after a certain amount of time, you're gonna be stripped from that belt. But just so boxing don't suffer, in the interim, we delegate other champions and we give them all the rights, privileges, and everything as if they're the bona fide champion. But let it be known, we have some kind of mark on it saying like if it's the war belt, whatever. Like you got this belt because the champions were, serving their country, and we can't stop boxing for that. Also, this thing about the flags, what do y'all think? Should we just stop across the board? Everybody from trying to show their country's flags when they step into the square circle, especially here in the States, because we can't have Russians coming in and trying to big up their country and get garner sympathy from the American folks. We don't got nothing to do with that. And Russia, the consensus is they're doing wrong, or should we just let it stay as it is? I personally believe that all that putting up your flag and stuff, why you in the States? No. Maybe when it's a big time fight for undisputed, maybe we'll say sing the national anthem of your country as well as our own. But I think that's the only time. I think it should be changed like that forever. Because, you repping your country, but you here in my country. If your country is all that, go do that over there. That's how I see it. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. We can't be letting these fighters come in, because if you're Ukrainian and you're boxing, the question gonna be, why aren't you over there? We heard the call to arms from Ukraine. We heard them say 18 to 60. That's every man on deck. I mean, when you talk about 60, you talk about anything 40 and up. Come on now, that's every man on deck. What can a 60-year-old do but do some administrative shit? War is hard. Don't forget to like and subscribe when you come in. I keep seeing the number go up and go down. So hit that like button, please. But you guys let me know. And Yogi, you can get in on this too. What do you think about that? Because no one monkey can't stop a show. America's not at war. Australia's not at war. Canada, Mexico, most of Europe, none of us are at war. So it's business as usual. But if you come into the ring waving your Ukrainian flag or Russian flag, Even though Ukraine, I think, is an ally of the States, we don't need to do that. We don't need to bring politics like that into boxing. Boxing is for everyone. You shouldn't be able to come in and rep your cause when that whole thing is just a tragic misfortune of, situation. Russia's being a bad actor. We can't have Russian fighters repping their flag. We definitely ain't trying to hear that. And we have to be fair, so we can't have Ukraine doing it neither. Right now, y'all country needs y'all. And y'all got to do that on your own time and on your own soil. And we don't go over there and do that at their country. They shouldn't be allowed to do it in nobody's country. But I think just going forward, period. And this is a good reason why this rule should exist. Period. So to be fair with everybody, unless you're going for undisputed, and if you're a foreign national, but you're going for undisputed, and you happen to be fighting here in the States, so we can't make rules or laws or policies for other countries, but I think it should be applicable all countries. I think all countries should adopt this. If you're going for undisputed, that's like saying going for the Super Bowl. So if you're going for the Super Bowl, yeah, you can recognize your hometown, do your national anthem, show your flag, and as well as the flag and national anthem of the host country or the other opponent, I should say. But outside of that, stop bringing nationality into boxing. It's a sport that's open to all. And when you're the champ of the world, you're the champ of the world. We all in this together. So, yeah. Sir Ampo said he agreed. Yogi, you got any thoughts on this? But Donovan, I'm getting back to him. I'm going to tell you guys to watch out for him. I see it already. He's going to replace Lomachenko because Lomachenko is otherwise preoccupied. He's otherwise preoccupied. And maybe, just maybe, the guy he was fighting was absolutely no competition for him. Maybe. But we'll have to see more fights. But I guarantee you, within the next, I give it a year and a half, he's going to be inserted into the equation as one of the top welterweights. Hopefully, all of that's going to happen after we finally get the fight we want, which is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. After that, they can invent and say whatever they want and put whoever they want together. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, should come in between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. I don't care how good they are. Not Bruce Ennis, not even Josh Taylor. And I'm going to tell you guys, be out on the lookout for that too. When we get to talk about Josh Taylor, I'm going to tell you what we got to watch out for him. I'm not a big fan of Josh Taylor. I know that some people are. I know that some people are, but I'm not. Not that big of a fan of his. Servin was trying to pressure Donovan though. That's what he was doing. He was maybe to him, he has power. We don't know either one of these fighters. A lot of fighters on this under Josh Taylor's undercard, we didn't really know them. But they were some good little nuggets over there. Yogi said the great thing about the US is freedom of expression. Although we may not agree with the way people express themselves, it's their right. Yeah. For us citizens. I'm talking about Yogi, like a person who's not from here. But because boxing is world competition, you can have people who like recently George Cambosa. I know you don't follow boxing, so I'm just telling you a little bit. I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. But like George Cambosa, who is from Australia, he has no intention of moving to America. He's not going to stay here. If you listen to his story, he said he's had to travel all over the world to gain his notoriety, to get his wins, to get his championship belts. And so he's not going to stay here. Even if he wins, which he has recently done, he's holding 3 of 4 belts, and he has the potential to be undisputed. And he went right back home to Australia. Okay. So if Australia had got into something where they're at war with whatever country, and they have put out that all dudes 18 to 60 got to come home on both sides, and they got to go handle that. Well, we don't know, because it's not our country. We don't know how long they're going to be. Because as long as they're fighting in their war, well, we can't just say nobody during this whole time of their war can go for these championship belts. There will be no champions in this division, because the people holding the belts, they off at war. So we can't do that. And since it's not our business, and that particular fighter doesn't live here, nor do he want, he just came here to do that one fight, do the 36 minutes and he out. Him bringing his flag and waving his flag and all this just for a regular belt or whatever, you're repping and bigging up your cause. And right now, this is one of them situations that is bigger than Nino, in my opinion. There's some countries that get into it that don't be on that level, but the Russia and the Ukraine and the crap that I hear Putin be saying out his mouth, like he basically asking who want it with lean. Anybody get involved, you can get it too. He's being a bully, and he's being a bad actor. It's a nice way I could say it. I just feel like, under those circumstances, Yogi, does that change your calculus a little bit, or it's still the same? Either way, I respect how you feel. Yeah, we do have freedom of expression. You and I and others have worn the uniform to ensure the First Amendment is adhered to for all Americans. These are not Americans. None of them are Americans. They get their belts and they go home. This is what they do without the war. That's why I'm not interested in extending them American courtesy, because they're not an American. And I don't think they should be holding up the belts, putting everybody else's life on hold, because of whatever their country is into. It's not their fault, but it is what it is. But getting back to Donovan and Serban put the pressure on Donovan. It wasn't effective pressure, though. Like I said, Donovan went Matrix on this dude for real. He put pause on this dude all night long. And he pretty much won every round. It was so bad the ref had to stop it. He put hands and feet on this dude. And then moving on from that, so just look with interest for Donovan. He's a welterweight. He works for Top Rank. Just be on the lookout for this guy, because he is the total package. I know that Bob feels that way. Some of you might not. I'm not sure yet. I got to see more. I just got to see more. But I was thoroughly impressed with his performance that night. Moving on to a person named Nick Campbell versus McFarlane. These were heavyweights. And when I tell you, there's a reason why the heavyweights is the top creme de la creme of boxing. The one guy looked kind of fat and nasty, like Andy Ruiz did before he got with Eddie Renuso. The other guy looked kind of fit and tall, weird looking. Oh my God, that was an excellent heavyweight bout. I wonder, did you guys see it? Like, I mean, whew. In my head, you know what I'm saying too? I'm saying if either one of them work for Top Rank, a great match would be Andy Ruiz and one of those guys. I don't know if those guys are ready for like a AJ or Usyk, but Usyk ain't gonna be in play. But AJ or Tyson Fury. But damn, Andy Ruiz will make a great dance partner with one of them guys. They was warriors. And they was slow, like heavyweights can be. One had some boxing ability. He seemed like he was moving around. But that guy who had the green hair, I think that his name was McFarlane. Oh my God. He could catch you. He's an awkward fighter. He throws at weird angles, and when he catch you, oh my God. They was hurting each other back and forth, back and forth. Of course, Campbell, I think, was the victor. Yogi said, look at how we waved our U.S. flags entering territories. They didn't like us. They felt like we were bullies. It didn't stop us from waving our flags representing our country. I get it, Yogi, but we talk about boxing. Boxing, just like football and basketball, it's a time and a place for everything. That war that's going on, the only reason it's touching boxing is because some of the champions are from that area. And even the top contenders, the people who work so hard to get to where they are in the ranking system. But boxing is, what have you done for me lately? And it's like this. They cannot sit back and wait. We cannot let boxing be the vehicle where you're repping that mess over there. That's what we have to be careful for. That's what I'm thinking. And that's why I say, maybe for Undisputed, when it's the Super Bowl, maybe. But outside of that, no. And, in my opinion. But I see how you see it differently. Because we will do that. We got a special name for that, huh, Yogi? We do it all the time. You said they do it in the Olympics. Right. But, again, Yogi. What that's going to do? You got these because Russia ain't called all their people back, but I'm sure they going back. But Ukraine called all their people. They said we need all hands on deck. But Russia gonna, have fights and be like, play the song and be all boisterous with their, bigging up Russia and trying to garner sympathy or empathy or just trying to garner support for them. No. That's not our mess. It's not affecting none of our other sporting entities, maybe on a very, very small scale, because you will have, basketball players from different countries. I don't know about football though. Maybe hockey players from different countries. We can't let them use our sport. We're not tied to that mess. And I think as Americans, if we do send Americans over, they will be a part of some kind of NATO, thing, It will be under the NATO umbrella. I would think that would be best. Because if we send them just as Americans, then now we're in that war. And we don't want to go through this again. We just now getting out of all that mess. When I think about it, our kids have never known a life where we was in that war. And fortunately for us, it's never on our homeland. I just don't agree with using boxing as a vehicle to promote or use propaganda for your war, no matter what side. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please like and share when you step into the square circle. And I know a lot of you from the peripheral looking, just come on in and hit the like button. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just come on in and do that. Go back to your peripheral and watch the show. And if you watch me on replay, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment, because I'm anxious, and I'm always anxious to see the feedback that I get, good or bad. Constructive criticism is constructive criticism. Man, when you getting belligerent or something, like, I might ignore it, but I respect your right to say what you got to say, because that's why I wore that uniform for 20 years. Are they promotion war, conflict, or are they true? That's what we don't want to find out. I think you're asking, will the guys come in there and say, "I'm for Russia. Russia need to take Ukraine back," and we don't want it. We don't want to get involved with that. That's not part of boxing. In fact, all the wars we've been in, we've never let it touch boxing. We as Americans, and this go for black, whites, Asians, Latinos, we hardly ever show our flags. It's more so other people from other nations, and the part that I don't really like, if you are born and raised in America, don't bring no goddamn Mexican flag up there. Don't bring no Canadian flag. Don't bring no UK flag. If you were born here, that's the flag you need to rep. That's just my opinion. I can't make nobody do nothing about that. But that's just my opinion. But you get a lot of fighters, not even from the country, that they bringing up the flag and representing. But Americans, like white Americans and black Americans, we hardly ever bring the flag into the equation. There need to be a consensus across the board. You say, are they proudly representing their country? I guess so. But there's a time and place for everything. He said, are they promoting war, or are they proudly representing their country? Sorry for the typos. Yogi, if they bring up their flags, at that point they promoting war. That's what boxing is not here for. That we're not here for that. Now I'm getting back to this heavyweight fight. Both of them was kind of tired after the fourth round. Now the dude Campbell said he was gonna piece the other dude up. McFarlane, like I said, he reminds you of Andy Ruiz, and he got power in his punch. He got some pop, and there was so many times that he was getting pieced up. He was like, "Oh, it's over. He about to fall." Timber, boom. You were just waiting on it, and he didn't. And the other guy would get hurt. I mean, the body shots of it all that McFarlane was giving to Campbell, and it was like back and forth, back and forth. I'm telling you, that was an exciting fight. I would love to see them chop it up with other heavyweights while we waiting on everybody else, and we can't do it because of this, we can't do it because of that. Those were exciting fighters. And so we need to get back to getting these heavyweights in there, so whether you're going for a belt or not, we can get some good heavyweight bouts, and let the top tier guys be the top tier guys. Right now, the Ukraine guy, Usyk, he wasted no time, heavyweight champ or not. He owns 3 of the 4 belts, and you got 2 fighters that's about to fight. When is Dillian White's and Tyson Fury fight? Got the exact date. It's either April or May. They about to square up, and whoever wins that is going to get the winner of AJ and Usyk. But then it's not going to be a fight with Usyk. Usyk didn't waste no time. He went back. He went home to fight for his country. So the heavyweight, undisputed, is on hold right now. That's why I say it's so serious that at this point the sanctioning bodies have to come up with something. And my idea, which they don't have to listen to, this is just something I was thinking about. You guys tell me what you think. Maybe at this point they should have an interim belt. We know that WBA was trying to get rid of all these extra belts. that they got that's unwarranted. It's just a way for these sanctioning bodies to gain more money. But we're gonna have to prepare. You know how you don't have a law or policy on the books, and then a situation happened, and you're trying to play catch up. Well, now we're in a predicament. We're gonna have to figure out how we maneuver through this predicament. But it has to be something that's sustaining. It can't be case by case basis. You got one guy who's going off to war. He may never return. I wish him luck. I send prayers to him. I send prayers to all him and his family and his countrymen. He may not return. I even send prayers to the Russians, boxers that got caught up in this. They may never return. So in a case like that, what you do with the belts? Boxing fans is not going to stand by easy, especially at that level, the heavyweight, and say, just give it to Tyson Fury since he had one belt. Or give it back to AJ. No. They're going to say, y'all need to fight for it. But the proper thing to do is to drop them and make everybody start from scratch. But what if Usyk comes back, because we don't know how long this thing gonna last. What if the thing lasts only a year or less, and Usyk comes back intact, fully ready to start a camp to pick up where he left off? Do you give him back the belts? But in the meantime and in between time, we relegated the belts champion in recess to somebody else. So when he come back, we say, oh, you're not the champion no more. We got to do something in a way that we all as boxing fans can respect. So maybe there should be, for those who are caught up in it, like the Russian fighters that's out there, or the Ukrainian fighters who are champions, just champions right now. Maybe we don't strip them of their belt, but we offer an interim belt in their absence. And upon coming back, they immediately go to the front of the line and pick up where they left off. But for this period of time, whoever's holding that interim belt will be known as the bona fide champion, with the understanding that once that situation is taken care of and secured, that the people who held the championship get to come back to the head of the line and pick up where they left off. If by any chance that they became maimed or hurt where they can't come back, or perhaps die, then the person who has the interim is relegated that champion. But somebody can ask, well, what about the 3 belts that Usyk hold? I think that right now that these fighters have to one by one try to gain their own belt in the interim. It shouldn't be like they automatically go up for 3 belts. No, it's going to throw a monkey wrench in the whole operation. And what about the contenders? The contenders out there that work so hard to get to their number 1 ranking or their status or whatever. Well, if they come back, they can have their spot back. If they are still intact and everything, in every sense of the word. But something got to be done. Some kind of consensus has to be agreed upon. But in boxing, we should not be promoting this war. We should not be, talking neck. We should not even be letting it be the topic of conversation. That's what we have to do, I believe. So that if that requires us to cease with the flag waving and all that for the interim, then so be it. Moving on to, I'm going to say this person's name, Robeisy. I hope I said his name right. Robeisy Ramirez versus another Donovan. It It was a featherweight. I didn't really watch it that much, but the guy Ramirez was too much for him. He was too much for him. So, I mean, I didn't really have much to say about it. But the people who was on that undercard, the Josh Taylor, and I think his name Jack Catterall undercard, those were some good nuggets. I was pleasantly surprised. Now let's get to the piece de la resistance. You got Josh Taylor, who is currently the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world, the 140-pound division, versus Jack Catterall. Now the backstory with them, we all know the backstory. Catterall was given a lot of step-aside money. He just had to get out the way. He was a mandatory of Josh Taylor years ago, but he kept getting pushed to the side so Josh can go be great. And he abided by it. He patiently waited his turn. In the end of the day, this man was so serious about winning, talking about Jack Catterall, it showed up in the fight. Josh Taylor lost that fight. I'll repeat, Josh Taylor lost that fight. I'll put the link in the chat. If anybody want to cook and break that shit down, hey, I'm going to let you do it. You know, I got some stuff that I want to say about it too, but hey, if y'all want to break it down, it's your opportunity to break it down. If, you can hit the link and come on in. You can call the number and say your piece. But Taylor, you know why I don't like him? Y'all know it's simple with me. And then see, there's a difference between cheater and dirty fighter. Now, dirty fighters, they break the rules. But the referee is there to fix that or mitigate that. But the referee is human, so he's not going to catch everything. And by the way, the referee of this fight sucked big time. He was too involved. And he was messing up the flow of shit. You know? And I thought all referees knew not to do stuff like that. Don't mess up the flow. Wait till a lull moment in the fight and then step in and say this, that, and the other. He was talking too goddamn much. And the person he needed to talk to was Josh Taylor. Because again, as I said, there's a difference between a dirty fighter and a cheater. For me. And I'm going to explain. A cheater takes banned substance and do things that increase the risk that's already inherently there in the combat sports. That means you have a disregard for human life. And that I can't abide by because it's just a sport. You should be able to come, leave everything in the ring, compete, dare to be great, and go back home to your family, in one piece. It's already a risky business, even if everything is working and on point. So to throw cheating into it is just a bridge too far from me. Now, a dirty fighter, you can argue that is cheating. Here's a dirty tactic. You throw a punch and you follow with your elbow. Fighters do it all the time. It don't make it right. But that's what the ref is there for, to catch that. If you get hit with elbows, that's going to be more detrimental than a punch. So, and the rules says it's not MMA. You're not kneeing anybody. You're not kicking anybody. You're not throwing elbows. You're not jumping down, up and down on people like that. You're throwing your hands. You can't even backslap people in boxing. That's against the rule. And I've seen Floyd Mayweather do it, but he didn't hit him. It was more like a guide. So if this is the bottle, this your face, Floyd would throw a punch. Maybe you go this way. Maybe he want to come back with a right hook. So he'll move. He'll with his hand, he'll do this. He don't do that. I'm sure they can by accident, but he'll do this to set you up and then come over the top. Fighters do that. They play footsie with the rules, loosey-goosey with the rules. And again, if your referee is worth his weight in gold, he'll catch those things and he'll rectify those things. And normally he'll give you a warning, he'll stop you or just talk to you, a stern warning, or he could tell you, hey, do it again, I'm going to take a point. That's what we come to expect. Another way that they can be dirty is using your head. And we all seen Sean Porter as he mauling you. It's almost like he tackling you. He's, coming in head first, but he doesn't, like shove his head forward. He's coming in hardcore, but he's coming in head first. Bound to have some kind of negative reaction because you're gonna pop somebody in the jaw and the mouth, and that shit is gonna hurt worse than a punch. All these things are gonna hurt worse than a punch. Simple shit like leaning on top of somebody. You weaken the legs. You tire them out. You will be surprised. A simple lean of 10 seconds or 5 seconds can tire somebody out on the equivalence of a whole round. You know what I'm saying? And that's done on purpose. That people put their whole body weight on you. Or throwing you around like a rag doll in the damn match. Kind of like wrestling. So clinching is allowed, but then when they in that clinch to throw somebody around, you're not really supposed to do that, but it happens. Leaning all on somebody. Pound for pound, sports entertainment is in the building. He says, salute to you too, King. All these things that I'm naming are dirty tactics. Not to mention grabbing somebody, coming in the clinch, but somehow or another, somebody's always in a headlock and you kind of lift up. Or you throw your shoulders. These are all dirty tactics. And let's not forget, when you clearly hear the ref say break, you clearly see him coming to break you, but you throw an extra punch. Every little leverage counts. And that's why I said these are things against the rule. I'm sorry, I got a net in here, and if I catch them, I'm trying to. But these are little dirty tactics that goes on all the time. Too much to actually sit down, put pen and paper, and try to regulate every little one of them. But it goes on all the time. And if the ref is worth his weight in gold, he'll catch these things. He will jump in and he will rectify them. But a ref is only human. He's only going to see but so much. The ref can say excessive holding. And he can get to a point where he says, you're holding too much. Sometimes they hold their arms and they try to bend them or hurt them, like pretty much break them. If your arm break, you got to fight through it. But fighters try everything to get that extra leverage. And so the dirtiest of all these fighters lately, in my opinion, is Josh Taylor. Everything that I just said, he does and more. The two things he do that I would qualify as cheating, which makes me overall to say I don't like him. These are things that can happen. Sorry, guys, it's net. Gotta catch him. Two things that I can call cheating. But it's such a fine line between dirty tactics and just all-out cheating that because it can happen. It can happen inadvertently. It can happen on purpose. In Josh Taylor's case, I always think he does it on purpose. Well, we know what can happen to a fighter if you hit him in the back of the head. So, Josh Taylor, my question to him is, Why do you do that on purpose? Are you trying to maim this person? Do you not want this man to be a great father, a provider for his family? You know, do you want him to have Parkinson's or, can't even talk or express himself, piss blood? That's the goal by any means necessary. I don't like Josh Taylor. He's bullshit. If he can fight without being dirty, that to me will be impressive. And there's no excuse for him because there's a lot of fighters out there that do fight just as good as him, and they don't never go result to those tactics. I can think of a couple. Bud don't do it. And y'all know how I feel about Earl. Overall, Earl doesn't do it. But Earl Nut did. Now he do that. I've never seen Earl hit somebody in the back of the head on purpose. I've never seen hardly any fighters that you could just point to and be like, you're actually doing that on purpose. There's a reason why that is not allowed. Josh Taylor also hits you in your back on purpose. Aiming for them kidneys. What you trying to do? Kill a person? And people who watching this fight can't say that they don't see that shit. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Lean on that leezy when you step in the heezy. Hit the like button and share, and don't forget to comment. Stop reckless eyeballing. Get up in here and hit the like button. I cannot stand Josh Taylor at this point. Because who is he if he's not doing that? Can you ever think you will see a fight where he doesn't do that? He don't scare me. What people need to know, I don't care if it's Bud, Earl, Ortiz, or anybody he may face when he go up to 147, especially Bud, because that's probably who he's going to face. Do not take this man lightly. Do not give him the benefit of the doubt. This man would do anything fair or unfair to take the win. And he's favored because he has the complexion for the protection. If he take his fucking ass up to 147 and he wants to fight in his hometown, fuck him. He got to come to America because they home cooked on his ass big time. They home cooked and gave him the fight. And I think it was despicable. He's a dirty fucking fighter. I do not like Josh Taylor. He's a fighter, though. He's a fighter. And he got heart. I give him that. And he's actually a good boxer. I can just do without the dirty tactics. I almost can deal with some of them. Wait a minute. Let me get my brother up in here. The Mac Mob is in the building. What's poppin', King? He says, salute to the queen. Blessings. Salute to you too, King. You know what? I've been going out. I'm trying to catch this net, y'all. I've been going out, B-Mac, right after the show the last couple of days last week. I did see your show, though. I did see your show. And yeah, I of course, loving it. Loving every minute of it. Shang-a-lang-a-lang. Shang-a-lang-a-lang. Y'all make sure y'all stop and go subscribe to this brother. Him, E-Thriller, Bold and Understanding. Stop what you're doing. Take a second and go subscribe to him. I always say, even if you don't watch somebody's show, the people you like, the people you don't like, subscribe. Are we not our brothers' keepers and sisters' keepers? Mosquito spray is in the building. What's poppin', King?
Miss T, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I've been listening for a quick second. I heard you talking about Josh Taylor.
Hell yeah, I don't like that motherfucker. You gonna tell me you like him? I hope not, but it's all good.
Nah. I mean, I respect his body of work, but I don't. I know I do see the dirty tactics he does. He did him against against Catterall. He did him against Ramirez. He did him against Prograis. The hitting behind the back and holding people head down, uppercutting, just all kind of stuff. Just whatever, like you say, pretty much whatever it takes, whatever. And I clearly thought he lost the fight. I had Catterall 13-12. It was six even because he laid back a little too late on, a little too much over the second half of the fight and let Taylor come back and even it up. But because of the knockdown, he had that extra point, 113, 112.
Now, what do you
And
think about that little hit he did, going back to the counter? Because I heard a lot of people saying what they thought, like it wasn't nothing. I just have a different perspective. But what you think?
I think it was a makeup call because I thought the other point to Catterall was bullshit. The ref was he was horrible at he affected the fight too much and then as much aside from the fouls he called, just stopping and starting, it's hard to get in any kind of rhythm. I don't. It had to be frustrating for both fighters with him, doing that. When you start to gain some momentum or get a couple shots in, and next thing you know, he's separating you, trying to, gesture to some rule you're breaking or something. It's hard. It's hard to do that.
You know what?
It's frustrating to watch.
I honestly think that the ref injected himself into the fight because they knew that they was gonna fix it for Josh Taylor. I think he was trying
Yeah,
to
it could be the
control it,
case. Yeah,
and
it could be the case.
yeah, and that hit that he gave him in the he could try to play it off like it. I was just like, you know how they do in the end of the round, they might touch
Yeah,
each other's glove or whatever. I didn't see it that way. You cannot give Josh Taylor those benefits of the doubt. He does
no.
any and everything, fair and unfair, to get in your head, to take you off your square. I mean, Dirty Tactics is this motherfucker's middle name. He should be called Josh Dirty Tactic Taylor. I can't stand his ass. I don't like him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, because like at the beginning of the fight, I was neutral or whatever, just watching. I want to see a good fight, but about probably fifth, sixth round, I found myself pulling for Catterall. And
Exactly.
'cause, yeah, I saw that he was doing, and Taylor was fighting like an idiot. You know what I'm saying, to say the least. And he kept getting hit with that left hands. And
All
the other
night.
part is, I was telling who's on I was telling B-Mac the other day, Taylor can switch hit. He never switched, for extent at all. Really, the right hand, he might have switched and switched right back, but because Catterall was fighting out of the shoulder roll, because Taylor was
Won't
fighting
he
out of
though?
southpaw also. Huh?
I said, won't he though? I saw that too. I was like, what? Who
Yeah,
they say
yeah,
Catterall work with?
yeah, Taylor could have he could have took that away if he'd have just switched right handed. He just never did. He kept coming in trying to bully the guy, walking right into shots. I
He
didn't
was
get it.
aggressive. He was aggressive. And again, who is Josh Taylor without the dirty tactics? If he come up there
Yeah,
with Bud should show no mercy from the first ringing of the bell. Bud should mollywop this motherfucker. He should look. He a snake. Don't come in there with no bunny rabbit shit. And this is to any fighter who fight Josh Taylor. I can't tell if you that great if you got to do those tactics because he got to know by hitting people in the back of the head and in the back in their back. Like he not even on the side. He's on the back, and he's trying to do it on purpose. He got to know what
hmm
that can do to a person, but he doesn't care.
yeah. He getting all in the kidneys and stuff and everything. It was ugly, pretty ugly.
Yeah.
I felt Catterall fought through it and did enough to win. It was just crazy. I see the title to the thing, Colbert. What you thought about that?
Oh yeah, yeah. He next. He next. Hey, let me do a shout out to Brian Mackey. He sent $5 in the cash app. Shang a lang a lang. I'm gonna actually get that video. Shang a lang. Thank you, Brian. Um, Thank you, B Mac
Oh
and
yeah,
B Mac. I'm gonna be at the show too. Yeah, I try to do my show so I can catch you. I think you say you go on at 9:30. So I just want to make sure I can catch you or whatever. Oh, that was interesting. In the end of the day,
what's up, B Mac? I
yeah, he said,
see.
what to do, mosquito spray.
What's up,
In
brother?
the end of the day, Taylor lost. He should be
Yeah, he
stripped of
did.
his belt. And I don't want to hear no
Yeah,
shit about me personally. Everybody got their own opinion. I personally don't care to hear about him going to fight Bud. I don't think Bud should fight him. Fuck
he
him.
better not get in there with Crawford. He gonna get killed.
And Crawford need to kill him. That's what he need to do.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
see
he
him
need.
beating none of them. After what I just saw, I don't see him beating Crawford, Spence, maybe not even Ennis or Ortiz either. Yeah, after what I just saw.
Exactly. I think Spence would kill him. But here's his rub. If he can get you in the back of the head, you know,
Yeah.
Spence looked like a choir boy next to motherfucking Josh Taylor. As you know,
yeah,
I call Spence the nut digger.
yeah. He trying to make where you can have kids no more.
Exactly. B Mac said that's me, Miss T. I think it came in here saying Brian Mackey, but yeah, B Mac, the Mac Mob, Shanga Langa Line. I can't wait to get some super chats because that's what I'm gonna do. Shanga Langa. Now I can currently be seen dancing in yeah. Y'all kill me with the Martin. That was like my favorite show right there.
Yeah, I used to
But
watch it back in the day
getting into
too.
the Colbert, I'm gonna let you cook. What say you on the Colbert
Man,
and Garcia?
he tried to fight a firefight and he got power like Polymyalgia. and he quickly realized he was outgunned. And but the thing that just it hurt me to see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just go out on your shield, man. Don't you know you got all these aspirations and everything. You high this highly touted and all that. Man, just get in there because if he would have fought the way he was fighting at the end, I mean, minus not punching at all, you know, just move and hit and move or whatever, he could have won the
Yes,
fight easily. But because
yes,
you could see his skill level was far above old boy, but he tried that arrogant shit. I'm stronger than you is, and then he wasted a bunch of rounds just sitting on the ropes, man. Like who you thinking, Muhammad Ali or something? Waving the dude, he almost got stopped. I couldn't, man. I'm like, what are you doing?
he
It
can't
was
give a damn
frustrating to
too.
see it. Yeah, and
He
by the
can't.
time he tried to pick it up, he was elbow was too far ahead, and he just it was just too much power for him. He took his heart. He took his heart, and he can't and all that shit he talked about Wilder. I think he talked a little bit about Spence too.
And
And
Shakur, yep.
yeah, he can't, man. I I don't see him even being a champion now. After that, it ain't you can't come back from that. This is a psychological thing now because
He
everybody know now. You take it to him, he gonna fold.
he full of shit, man. He's a coon, and I've been on his
Yeah,
ass since last summer. For what he was saying about Wilder. Now, everybody know, I respect the right, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of thoughts, and you can have that. So
yeah,
when it come to him, I'll just say I'll agree to disagree, but it don't mean that I don't like or like. I have an opinion of what he's saying. I'm looking more at his intent behind his words, and
yeah,
he did take his heart. You are absolutely right. He took his heart.
yeah,
Did you think
and
that he quit?
yeah, he quit. He went into survival mode. I mean, you got was by round 10, he knew his corner wasn't lying to him neither. They were like, hey, you got to stop this guy. So you clearly down on all the cards. He maybe won 2 rounds at best, and you not gonna try to go win the fight. You acting like it's a I don't even know if you can call that a sparring session.
I don't know what
It was. I haven't. He was acting like De La Hoya in round 12 against Tito, but De La Hoya was up. You know what I'm saying in my eyes in the Tito fight, but this cat had clearly lost. You know all the rounds and stuff. He gave hell. He after 4 rounds, he probably down 3-1, if not 4-0. I mean, and it just got worse from there. Then he walked to that left hand and almost got stopped in that round, man. And just still, it's kind of like, hey, you gotta quit being stupid, man. Box this guy. But he wanted to show how macho he was and shit. He don't have the power. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. And everybody clowning him now, man. And the
ain't they though?
psychological thing of it, man, he gonna get in there. And once he start feeling that power again, what are he gonna do? Because the blueprint been laid out now. Everybody know how to beat you now. You get know the guy, they gonna make it rough on
He has no answer for power. And I didn't want to
him. Yeah,
pile on too much because I knew everybody in their mama and their daddy gonna do something about this fight this weekend. But I did want to
yeah,
point out some things. People did cap for him after the fight. And that's them just being nice. This is what empathy looks like, y'all. Because if you look at Abner Mars, they asked him, they said, "Oh, he was off." And then that trainer Cunningham, he said, "Oh, he looked off." Yeah,
Yeah.
he was off because he got hit.
Yeah, old boy played a major role in that. And then the other thing, he was treating the dude like he was just some, just some just a
Hmm.
regular. This guy was an Olympian,
Yep.
was undefeated. I know he had three no contest, but he hadn't been taught how to lose as a pro yet. So he coming to win also, and he had power. His record reflected that. And Colbert, I'm gonna stop this guy. He in the damn locker room doing electric slide and shit before the fight.
Hmm.
I'm like, man. And then somebody said later on, I seen like another thing. Somebody say they seen him like I guess the night before or whatever on the casino out on the casino floor, kicking it or whatever. He wasn't focused, man. But regardless of any of that, in the ring, he don't have the power to fight like he's trying to fight. You're not that kind of guy. You can't stop nobody at will.
Hmm.
You need to set your shit up, and he didn't take the time to do that. It's like he tried to just like Josh Taylor, like he tried to rush things. He came right out the gate, walking the guy down, trying to fight in the pocket like he James Tony or something, and got 6 knockouts. And then the other thing that I don't get, and this is a shameful on PBC part. How the hell the
Hmm.
man been pro for 7 years and got 16 fights? You know what I'm
Damn.
saying? 'Cause when you first starting out, most fighters, they fighting every couple of months because the rules is as long as you don't get knocked out or nothing like that, you get
Right.
automatically suspended for 30 days. Then you can come right back and fight again. So at least they fight 6 times a year when they first starting out. This guy got 16 fights in 7 years.
Well, everybody wants to be TBE, but they don't never want to be Pretty Boy. That's the thing.
Right,
They don't
right.
never want to be Pretty Boy. And here's some other things I gleaned about him. Okay, he don't have a heart. That was proven this weekend. He
Yeah,
he ain't gonna he cannot. The curtain was pulled back. We see that now. He quit. He's pillow fisted. I've always thought he was pillow fisted. But like you say,
yeah,
he got great skills. He is an excellent boxer. He played
yeah,
too damn much. He had no adjustment, and he don't have an answer to somebody who's has power. Now
yeah,
Garcia, on the other hand, you could tell this dude know how to box, but did he box him? He didn't even box him. That's the
mm,
crazy thing. He didn't even box him. Now, I was happy about his defeat because you know what? These some cliches that Chris Colbert need to reacclimate himself to. Because I'm sure his parents, somebody, if it wasn't his parents, a school teacher, somebody taught him some things. What you do unto others as you have them do unto you. Who you see going up, you're gonna see coming back down. And the crazy thing is, he never went that far up. He was always down. For him talking
yeah,
about Wilder like he did, he was not even in Wilder's lane. He It was unprovoked, and you can look at the intent. So when I'm looking at a person, I judge them more by their intent. What he said about Errol, he was kind of trying to have it both ways. He was trying to, give him props, but at the same time put him down. Earl ain't stupid. He saw that shit. And Shakur, he always want to talk about somebody's skills and what they don't have. But we all see now that the band-aid is pulled off, he don't have no skills. The same people you shit on is the same people you got to see when you get dealt with. And like I'm gonna tell you the couple of tactics that I saw in Garcia. Garcia tucked his chin very well, probably better than a
mm-hmm,
lot of people. And he beat him that way by just tucking his chin, putting the pressure on him, walking him down. He actually let his hands go. Adrian Broner could learn a thing or two by watching that fight because he let his hands go. And the crazy thing about Garcia, he squared up and left his hands down the whole time. Did you
yeah.
see
He didn't
any of
respect
that?
Cobra because he didn't respect Cobra's power. So
Indeed.
you don't you can do that when you, but I gotta disagree with you on one thing.
What's
Cobra
up?
does have, I mean, he besides minus the chin and power, he does have all the talent in the world. I'm not gonna lie about that, but
He do.
and he can't, because I mean you got guys like Paulo Malignaggi, he had a very successful career with no power, so Cobra can have a good career. He just gotta use his strong points and to mask his weaknesses, and he put his weaknesses out front Saturday night. He lived and died with his weaknesses. He fought
This,
in the pocket with a power puncher, and he don't have no power.
you remember when Take was about to fight Cruz. Now, a lot of people, I was on everybody's show talking about this dude Cruz. Nobody knew him. I said, Tank, you becoming a person who's strategic. If I don't know if y'all gleaned this about Tank, he's strategic. He can place his punches, however, and then he's gonna hit you or whatever.
Yeah,
And then but
Oh man.
he should go back to just boxing. This guy is
hmm
named Triple G. You not the boxer, are you?
Yo, bro, this is the triple MTP, man. This is the man, the Phil from the UK, bro.
How
Hey,
you doing? How you doing?
what's up?
How you doing?
yeah,
But
I'm just pissed off about the Catrol fight, bro, because he busted Taylor up.
yes, he
Yes, he
did.
did.
That guy
Definitely
got
did.
he got mashed up. Do you know why they didn't want him to win? Because he comes from a city like where I come from, Birmingham, in the centre of the city, centre of the UK. We have a bit of a funny accent. We're a bit strange. Listen, we're not gonna sell fights. That guy got busted up, bro. Taylor got put
Yeah.
on it. Did you watch that fight?
Of
Oh
course.
yeah.
He got mashed up, bro. Got mashed up.
He got
Yeah. I
cheated.
definitely had Catterall winning. I definitely had Catterall
I
winning.
had Catterall winning too.
Yeah, I'm sorry to just be coming onto a random
You
stream, but
good? You good?
I really apologize about that. Like
No, you good.
I'm nearly 50 years old. I shouldn't be doing I shouldn't be doing stuff like this, but
Hey,
I
you
was
in good
so
company. You in good company.
I was so, I was so disappointed in that fight. It
yeah.
was what it was. Is one of them thing. It was one of them thing where Mans was expecting things to be a good fight. Like I watched the fight. I went out. I watched it in the centre of Birmingham. Um, oh, my light's gone off. I just thought that Taylor would have put up an effort in the fight, but he got beat up. That guy, Josh Taylor, Scottish guy, he was in hospital for 6 hours after. All his eye was messed up. I just think,
hmm
well, why are people lying? Why is nothing fair in the boxing community anymore? Why is it some sort of lies? There need to be judges that are going to actually do things that are fair. Like I'm in my 50s, like I'm 51 next year, and when I
Mhm.
used to box, it was unfair then. It was unfair then. I think it's even worse now. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to bother you guys.
No, no, no.
I'm
Sorry, you
sorry.
good.
No, no, you good. You good,
I'm
man.
That's
flattered that
some
you made
fool.
from England chiming in. I mean, I know I was getting some airtime over there.
I'm
I'm
so
flattered.
sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry.
stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. So tell me, how do the people in UK or Scotland, for that matter? Because from what I heard, the Scottish people felt like Taylor lost too, and I can tell you, in America, we all pretty much in unison about this, that Catterall won.
Yo, listen, that fight went down with Bud Crawford. That guy's gonna get busted up, bro. Crawford's gonna put him in a
Indeed,
body bag.
indeed. So how do y'all feel about Bud Crawford over there?
Yeah, we like him a lot. Um, the fact that he comes over here, spends a lot of time. He has a house over here as well. Yeah, we very much like Crawford. He's sort of like an English guy to us. So
Oh, he gets the honorary key to the city.
he gets the key to the G.
Hey, that what I'm saying. That what I'm saying. So Bud got uh fans across the water, across the pond. That's
Yeah, we
great.
love him to bits here. He's the most famous boxer in the UK.
Wow, are you
He's cool.
serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Do y'all
He's more
hear that?
famous than Fury as well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do y'all hear that in the chat? Bud Crawford is the most famous boxer in the UK, even over
Yeah,
Tyson Fury.
because he spends a lot of time here. He has house here.
Mhm.
He's going to retire here after he leaves. He's a very nice man, and I like him. And
Mm.
I think at times you just have to go with what your gut feeling is. And I think he's a decent dude, to be honest. So
And y'all gonna promote his, like, when he do fight Errol Spence, because that's the fight we all want to see. Are you guys gonna support that fight?
yeah, we'll support it, but I'll be backing Crawford in that fight, obviously. But I do think that fight is not as easy as people think. I think Spence is very underrated in
Mhm.
terms of what's going on. When he whacked his car out in Houston, when he's in the club with all the Crips and all that. Listen, everybody's younger than yeah, we know all about that. We know all about that. We know all about that, bro.
He
We
said
know
the
all
Crips
about
and
that
all.
shit. You think we don't know?
Nah, we hear you, King. so, so he
Yo,
said, now, do
listen.
you know about the eye injury? You know about his current situation?
We
He's
know it.
coming off
I
the eye
know
injury.
every. Yeah, yeah. I've watched all of Errol Spence's fights. I know
Mhm.
everything about his injury, about his eye, about Al Heyman, all the shit. Listen,
Okay.
listen. If you're talking Errol Spence with me, like I'm a bit of an expert on Errol Spence, bro. He's had a few fights. Like he fought the Kell Brook fight was a good win. I didn't think he was close. I thought Errol Spence beat the shit out of Kell Brook, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, was Errol Spence's injuries? Listen, we have to take Errol Spence's career and anything from the Lamborghini, his Lamborghini crash. Any fight that he's took with that, the Danny fight, you have to take it the fact that he's happy to be alive, man. This
Mhm.
guy, we're not talking Keith Thurman, WBC, WBA champ, just running off to Nepal to marry 20,000 Indian women. Like, like he didn't run off with his money to marry about 50,000 Chinese women. Listen, Errol Spence is a nice guy. He's a nice guy. So he got injured. Probably Al Heyman went round to his place. He said, listen, he said, Errol, do you want to fight? Do you want to not fight? He said, I'm going to fight. He said, I'm going to fight. He goes, who are you going to fight? I'm going to fight Danny Garcia on my comeback fight. I'm going to fight Danny Garcia. And he come back and he fought Danny Garcia. So it's very difficult to be negative about Errol Spence. His name sounds like something you should put in the post to Brazil, like Errol Spence. You need to put a stamp on that and post it to Brazil or Australia. You know?
Hey man,
That's
who do you when if him and Crawford do meet, who do you favor in that fight? I know you said you think it might be a close fight, but who do you actually favor?
yeah. I'm gonna go Spence in that fight because I think Crawford's too old.
You just said you leaning towards Crawford, man. You switching up.
Yeah, I'm switching. That's what people from the UK do, bro.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
man,
y'all gotta stay consistent, man.
No,
oh
Bryson,
man.
no. Listen, that's how we keep Putin at bay. That's how we
hey,
He
keep.
switched. He switched. He must really be a Crawford fan. He switched hitting like Crawford now.
yeah, look what you drinking on. What you drinking on?
Now, do you know what I really think? I think if this fight happened tomorrow, Crawford would win. But I think that Spence is going to time him out and he's going to get timed out. And the Crawford Spence fight happened when Crawford's 37 and Spence is about 33.
They
I'm
like,
going to
yeah,
go
3 or 4
Spence.
years. They three. I think they like 3 years apart in age.
Yeah, I'm going to go Spence in that fight. I think he might body him as well. Because listen, I think, yeah, I think it might be Spence stoppage.
Spence don't take care of the body outside the ring.
It's listen. If this fight was back in the day, um, it's 50-50. If this fight
Hmm.
was back in what 2015, or
Mhm.
it is what it is. It oh man,
We
he's probably
curious
one
to
of the
know.
best.
Look. We curious to know. Hold on. Let me just say, 88 Sports Talk. He said, "Hey, Queen, what's poppin', King? Welcome to the building." we curious to know, why didn't it happen in 2015? As according to the
Yeah,
UK.
I'm gonna go Bob
Well,
Arum with that.
You gonna go Bob
Think
well, at
Bob.
Arum?
that time,
Yeah, yeah.
Crawford was still in at 140 at that time anyway. He came in the division in 2018.
I think
Horn.
Okay.
So
2010.
he
Yeah,
So, yeah, so it
yeah,
was June in 2018 when he stopped Horn or whatever. But the mistake that Spencer's made by waiting and BSing so long is he's let Crawford grow into the weights. He's a full fledged welterweight now.
the
And
biggest fight in boxing.
the thing that most people were banking on, they just have this because they look at them, their bodies, their makeup. They think that Spencer's just gonna be physically too big and too strong. That's not the case. You see how Crawford manhandled Sean Porter
Yeah,
when
he
they got
fucked him
tired
up.
and Porter was
Yeah,
able
he
to
fucked Porter up.
and Porter was able to push Spence back and gave him a life and death struggle pretty much. So I know you can't always use the triangle theory with fights, man, but that coupled with the fact that Spence don't take care of his body outside the ring, Crawford does. You know what I'm saying? He eats, sleep, and
Yeah.
drink boxing, and Spence don't do that. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. I've seen it with my own eyes. What Spence do. I'm from Dallas. I live in Florida now, but I grew up in Dallas. I know exactly what Spence doing. You know what I'm
Seriously.
saying?
Have you been in the places
Yes.
that he's been out around there and shit?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Wow.
seen him with my own eyes getting it in,
Yeah, having the night
and
out, getting pissed and all that.
Well, Floyd Mayweather famously took care of his body, and this is why Floyd was TBE and 50-0 record, because he took care of his
Yeah.
body. But mosquito spray here is saying that Spence is not taking care of his body, and once you get in your 30s, we all age. Father time waits for no one. So if you've been a person who's been abusing, you have vices like alcohol and all this, that's just not conducive to be a boxer. So
Yeah.
mosquito spray is just saying that, hey, that shit gonna catch up with you. And that's gonna be a
hmm
factor for when they do fight. That's
yeah.
how we
So
say.
even though by years Crawford is the older man, by physically how they handling their body, Spence might actually be the older man physically, and plus that car wreck also. But I'm not gonna let that be an excuse if you get whooped. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let that be an excuse because he need after all the crap he done talking out of 60-40 and 70-30 miss. I
Mhm.
can't wait. I know, and I know Crawford feel the same way. And
DJ is in the building.
and also it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to beat Ugas. Ugas is going to be a tougher fight than people think
Oh yeah.
for
I
Spence, I
think so
Yeah.
believe.
too. I think so too. DJ is in the building. He says, "Salute Queen T. Colbert laid down and quit." He most certainly did. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
our
he did.
friend over here from the UK, did you watch that fight with
Yeah,
Chris Colbert?
I watched that crazy shit. That was fucked up, right?
Man, Chris Cole gonna be the butt of
Yo,
every joke for a
listen.
while.
You know when you go to the police station, I got no comment, bro.
Hey, look,
I can't.
I wrote up a lot of stuff about Colbert. I'm gonna try to get it in because I know everybody gonna pile on. So I'm gonna try to be a little respectful. But y'all listen to this. Colbert is a gimmick to me. He's a one-hit wonder. First of all, he tried to say he ain't black, and with black folks, we don't
What?
play that shit. We don't play that shit. I'm like, I don't know where you don't see the black on you, but okay. And so then
What
I
did he
say,
say? What did he say? What did he say? That guy. He said he
well,
weren't black or
well,
something.
Well, he tried to say he's not black, he's Mexican. Dude, have several seats.
Wow.
I'd be like, whatever.
He
He
looks.
said
He
it
looks.
is though.
Oh.
He used to say that all the time. But then dude is a whole bag of emotions. He's conceited, he's arrogant, he's jealous, he's envy, he's a narcissist, he has no
Yeah.
sympathy, he has no empathy, he's a hater, and he ain't loyal. He's not loyal.
Yeah.
And
I
he's the
don't like
type of
that guy.
person
I don't
and,
like
and
that
he's
guy.
the type of person. He's the type of person that will kick you when you're down. He basically try to do things for clout. That means he's trying to spruce his own stuff by any means necessary. He throw things at the wall in hopes that it stick. He loves to besmirch people, character, degrade people. He don't. It's like he don't care. It's like everything he do is for himself. And I'm gonna probably talk
Yeah.
more about it tomorrow because we ain't gonna have enough time to go through all of it. He has no heart. He is full of fisted. But I want
Yeah,
to
I've been
say this
watching his
part.
whole career. Like I've
Yeah,
been watching his whole career. His whole career has been about clout. He's been trying to
yeah.
play two two narratives off against each other. He's a bit of a clout chaser, to be honest. I
Oh,
got no time for
look
that
at
guy,
you.
bro.
I didn't even know if you knew what cloud chasing was. Shout outs to the
Yeah.
UK.
Already.
Shout outs to
We know
the
what's going on, bro. We know what's going on. But you
look.
do know I'm from a part of the UK. It's quite urban where I live, so there you go.
I see. We got to reevaluate some things over here in the States. But you know what? What he does, y'all, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'll say it on the show.
No, no.
I don't know who made him president, CEO, prime minister, or the convening authority on taking a
Shit.
cause and attaching a color to it
Oh
and then
shit.
saying he trying to bring awareness. He not doing that, y'all. He trying to bring awareness to himself. You know what he doing, bottom line? He peacocking. That's all
Yeah,
he doing.
yeah.
He peacocking. And
Do you
I don't know
know?
how
Do you know?
anybody don't see that. What's
Do you
up?
know
Yeah.
what I find disgusting about that? Like, there's all these wars in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ukraine against Russia. You had Rwanda against Burundi. Like I
Mm-hmm.
used to fight. I served in the army in France, and I did 2 years abroad in Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, all these guys trying to give clout, and why don't they go to a war zone? Why don't they? Listen, you can get shot by a bullet from about 60 miles away. You can get killed from about 10 miles away by a bullet. You wouldn't even know you was killed.
That's
So
real bravery.
yeah,
Hmm.
Mhm,
all these people that they're saying they're the big man, they're the hard man, that they're gonna
mhm.
fight this man, they're gonna fight that man. They're not gonna fight anyone. They're not gonna fight anyone. This is a
Except for
coward.
one though.
It's yeah. I personally think everybody who discusses that is a bit of a coward. And if you're gonna talk the big talk or walk the big, oops, if you're gonna if
Mhm.
you're gonna be talking the big talk or doing this, well, you need to back that up. You need to back that up. And I don't
Yeah.
think many people in the modern world are backing things up. They're
No,
doing things over the internet, but they're not doing anything in the real world,
they're
you
not.
know.
Yeah.
And
You
I
have
think I
observed
think
correctly.
yeah, I think it's
Hmm.
disgusting. I think it's very, very disgusting. And your country has a lot of it as well. You have these idiots. You got these white guys running around with these torches. Who, who the fuck's gonna run around with a torch? Running around with a torch. Well, what sort of idiot does that? Well,
Idiots.
why would you run around with a torch? Well, well, now listen, listen to this. What sort of idiot would grab a torch and run around and start? That's fucked up, bro.
A person, a
Yeah.
person who got an identity crisis. That's who does that. They can't handle the truth.
That guy's got some serious issues. When I started, there was a part of me because I'm white. I'm obviously white. There was a part of me I thought they must be doing this for some sort of reason, and then I started looking on the internet, and I thought there's no fucking reason for that.
Yeah.
That's just messed up. And I think the world has gone to a particular place at the moment. I need to just adjust my hat. I think it's gone a bit crazy. I don't necessarily think that there's anything in terms of boxing as well. We need good judges in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
We need good judges in life. We need like I'm a terrible example to use because like I suffer with mental health issues. Like I got a bit of bipolar, I got a bit this, that, and the other. But why do you think people have mental health issues? Because of the bullshit they
Yeah.
Yeah.
have to look
Yeah.
at.
A lot
You
of people
don't
just get
want it
pushed over
nice.
the edge, man.
Look,
That's gonna
it's about
send you
3 something in the
crazy.
morning over there, huh? It's about 3 something in the morning. Where you at?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bother you. I'll
Don't
let you
keep
Oh,
enjoy
good
apologizing.
talking to you,
whatever.
man. Appreciate you coming
Hey,
on.
I come on every
Thank
night,
you for having.
7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You welcome to call in, jump in like you just did. You more than welcome. We respect everybody's opinions, even if it don't agree with ours. But over here, it's T. Crawford. But hey, you gonna have to pick a side. You can't look. You can't fiddle daddle. You gonna have to pick a side, young man.
Yo, listen, word up, bro. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and get myself have a bit of a drink. Gonna chill out. Word up, bro.
I feel you.
Well, have a
Okay,
good evening,
word.
man. Take it easy now.
All right,
One
take it easy,
six.
man.
One six,
Mosquito
bro.
spray. Mosquito spray got it closing because we got to get over to BMAC.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
six, bro. 1-6. See you in a
One
bit,
six.
bro.
All
All
right,
right.
I feel you. Mosquito spray,
But
you got
yeah.
it closing because I was trying to get through. I'm probably gonna talk about uh your boy what's his name again. I just want everybody to know he peacocking because if you do a deeper dive in all these causes, because think about it, if he had 10 years on the books in his career, and every time he fought for this cause and that cause and that cause. Next time y'all stick a microphone in his face, ask him about the cause. See how well versed he is or not. I'm almost
Yeah.
betting he will not be well versed. He not doing that for the cause. He doing it for him. That's it. And he's peacocking, which you don't have to go through all that just to peacock. Just peacock. Men peacock. That's what it
Yeah.
is. You know,
I will
to
give
the
him
best
I will give
peacock.
him credit for I would give him credit for one thing he's doing out the ring, where he got he's starting a little chicken franchise, basically trying to put his money into something that's gonna work for him. As opposed to these guys going out, getting the chain in the automobile and all that stupid. I'm sure he got that too with it, but he's actually doing something with his money positive.
Yeah,
That's gonna serve him once he get out the ring. These guys ain't got 401ks and stuff like that. But as far as final thoughts, like I say, Taylor lost and got a gift, and Colbert, we'll see how he come back. I'm not confident he can though. And I
I'm not
appreciate you
coming.
having me on and everything. And I catch it a little bit over on the Mac Mob.
I know I'm gonna hustle my visa to Mr. Mac Pizza, Mr.
Oh, that
Pop.
yeah, yeah. People don't know that's that last dragon. I know about
I
it.
know, right?
The daddy,
I see.
daddy.
That's why I love you guys. That's directly with pizza to Danny Gray's Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all go over to the Mac Mob. It's spelled THE space MAC space MOBB. Go over to the Mac
Yeah.
Mob and sub. Check him out. You're gonna like his channel. And go on over to E Thriller, the Black Picasso. You're gonna like his channel too. Um, so yeah, that's what I want people to know about. Tomorrow I'm gonna go more in depth and take my time to go through it. We had a welcome guest from the UK. He did say that they bud crazy over there, and that was nice to hear and everything. Y'all know I gotta do my last Black History Month, so it's not gonna be long at all. So I'm about to run through it, and y'all can stick around for it real quick. Let me see, it's not long because we know this person. Who is this beautiful young lady right here? But none other than Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama was the first lady of the United States, of course, during the reign of, Barack Obama. She was born January 17, 1964. We know that she has a Princeton degree. She got in, she even said it. Her brother was an alumni of Princeton, so she pretty much got in like that. And then past that, she went to Harvard. I guess Triple G
Oh,
is
bro.
back. Hold on, player. We doing Black History. Hold on. So, so she's an attorney. She went to Harvard, and she did a lot of work. Like she taught at schools at the University of Chicago. We pretty much lived through her era, and we know about her. And she represented this country well. She did programs like Let's Move, where she was actually addressing the obesity problem in America, especially when it comes to our kids. The Obamas couldn't do nothing. They had no support, but yet they did a lot. And I know a lot of people don't like Barack Obama, which I'm always shocked when I hear that black folks don't like him, because I don't see why not. You can't get a more calm, cool, collective person. Now, when men be saying that, men are not emotional, but women are, that man exemplifies calm, cool, and collective. And you can't make a decision when you're all emotional and all this stuff. Obama did a lot for this country, not just targeted. He's a president of all of us. He's not gonna just target some groups or whatever, unless you make them. And that's the reality of politics. Period. If you are a voting block and you hold your votes or whatever, then you can get that president to concentrate on certain things that you do. But a lot of people miss historically, whenever they make a rule, it 9 times out of 10 directly affects black people. And when we rise, so do others. So, like when they had the civil rights and the voting rights, that didn't just help black folks, that helped other people who were being oppressed too, like white women. Even though we're not crying for them, we're not crying for them when we talk about black causes. I'm just saying that when we got the right to vote and the right to do this and right to do that, so did they. So whenever you have a group like black folks, when he did with the credit cards, the bailouts and all that, that directly helped the worst of us financially, which was tend to always be us. But she was a great first lady. She was the rock behind him or beside him. They always say behind every great man is a great woman, and she certainly exemplifies that. She was educated. It started off with Clinton, Laura Bush, and her. They were all educated in their own right, despite their husband. We had a little break with the Trump era, but now we back on track with Biden's wife, who is a professor, who is very educated. And education means something. She cared about the youth. She represented herself well. She raised her daughters in a proper way or the ideal way. They all were a great representation of this country. She was the woman that needed to be by his side, and she was obviously black. And that's why I want to celebrate her now and forever. Right here, she was looking fierce. Fierce. You know how many times people try to find that outfit? Oh my God. Fierce. Not only is she beautiful, but she got the brains to boot. Now, I'm not gonna go in depth about everything she did because we know how educated she is. We know that she was the rock beside her husband. But I wanted to use this opportunity to talk about she may not have been the first black first lady. And I just want you, I'm gonna put something out for you guys, and you guys can go do your research. The word brunette. Now, I've looked up the current meaning of the word, and I'm going to tell you, America suffers from consensus writing. And if you don't know what consensus writing is, when somebody who has the authority, usually patricians, i.e., elite folks, to write a narrative, a spin, no doubt, to favor their narrative. So if you look up the word brunette right now, it'll tell you it has everything to do with the hair color. Brunette never did. If you go back and look up, something like back in the day, like the 18th century or 19th century, what the word brunette was, you will find that it had everything to do with the complexion and not necessarily your eye color or your hair color. And a lot of first ladies were considered brunettes. If you read the Bible and it describes what Jesus looked like, it's not the Jesus that they love to show, but it's another Jesus. Woolly
Oh,
hair.
listen, bro.
Um,
Listen, bro.
I
Can you
gotta
hear
cut
me,
you
bro?
out. I gotta cut you out. Can't do that on Black History. Gotta respect the Black History moment now. But woolly hair, bronze colored skin, fiery eyes. That don't describe no blonde hair, blue eyed person or whatever. But you can believe who you want to believe, who is Jesus. I'm gonna go by the description in the Bible. But I wouldn't be shocked that if you look at a new edition of the Bible, it will show that that description is gone or something. I don't know. But that is what we classically call consensus writing. trying to put a spin on a narrative to favor one group or another. And as far as brunettes go, let me tell you a couple of brunettes that were first ladies. George Washington's wife, she was a brunette. Now I understand you're gonna go back and look at these pictures and you're gonna be like, Miss T, no way, no how. But those things are doctored too. Why don't you go look at a current rendition of what the bust of Nefertiti looked like? And we know she was black. But go check that out, what people are trying to say she looked like now. And that's what pretty much has happened in our history. Consensus writing, changing the narrative. But George Washington, I wrote down a couple of people. Hold tight. Chester A. Arthur, Ulysses S. Grant, and William Howard Taft. And that Taft is in the 20th century. So, and they were called brunettes because of their complexion. Which tells me that because if you look up how they describe a brunette, it's like reddish brown color. Who is reddish brown? Well, we know from our history that could have been white and black mix. It actually could have been Indian and white mix. It maybe even partially could have been Latino white mix. But it was a woman of color. And it was common for men to prefer, or they be the go-to women, brunettes. Not the blonde bombshell that everybody likes to tell us it is. And if you notice, the standard of beauty is not the blonde bombshell today. Kim Kardashian was instrumental in knocking that off. So, and I'm not knocking the blonde bombshells or anybody else, but I like to tell the truth. Brunettes were possibly the first lady before the first black first lady that we all know and love, Michelle Obama. So that was my Black History moment, and I just I found that interesting. You can go check it out yourself. If you go by current definition of what a brunette is, you're not going to find nothing. There's newspapers all over this country. You have to go back to the 1800s, maybe even before that, or even in the turn of the 20th century, and you will find out the true definition of a brunette. And then think about all the people I just named who were first ladies, who were considered, described, and everything as brunettes. So that is listen, the guy Virgil Hill just turned, well, look, first of all, that was my Black History Month moment. This is the last day of Black History, and it was a great month, and we celebrated and noted some prominent members of America and beyond, Black important people in the world, because it's important that you be told about these accomplishments of Black people. This guy, Virgil Hill, y'all know that he was just in here, said he was from the UK. He said, I'm Russian. And he said, FFS, bro. And he said, you okay, bro? You funny. So I don't know. But hey, we welcome everybody as long as you be respectful. If you still listening, what's the guy name? What he said his name? Virgil Hill, which was the guy that came before. If you still listening, just know when I do my Black History moment, don't interrupt Miss T now. Don't interrupt Miss T. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Stay away from the wine bottles. Don't do it. But mosquito spray, that's all I have. And thank you for joining. And I hope you guys do go look up brunettes. And then think about the famous people who were considered brunettes back in the day. That's all I have. You have anything else?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, let's go direct to our pizza. Anyway, when you know better, you do better. Peace. See y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.